What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Crowded Lake, and today I am reading Chapter 3 of What's Wrong With Me, a Tuggstoffelees fanfiction. If you'd like to recommend a future fic for me to read, you can do so with the Google form in the description below. And yeah, no, that's about it. We're gonna head into Chapter 3, Turn Off My Senses. The next morning, Mr.Mistoffelees yawned awake, seeing Tugger sprawled across the floor in a deep sleep. Munkustrap seemed to be long gone, so Misto shuffled up to lay his head on Tugger's chest. Misto was overcome with warmth, purring and squirming, loving this sense of calm. That was until his purring and squirming had awoken Tugger, who wiggled a stretch from under Misto. Where's Monk?" he asked through a yawn. Misto looked sheepishly from waking him up with his excitement. He was gone when I woke up. I hope he went to Demeter." Tugger arched his back. "I hope so too. They need some time together." Misto gasps, realizing he forgot to say something. "Oh, actually, I ran into Demeter last night while fetching the water. She was searching for Monk. She was also dreadfully worried about him." Tugger grew concerned. "Well, of course, anyone would be. He's a mess. What did you say?" Misto scooted closer to Tugger, sitting up next to him. I told her that Monk was with you and that he was overwhelmed from the appearance of the cavity. She showed concern, but voiced to me that she knew he would feel the need to comfort her, and so opted out of coming to give Monk a chance to relax and calm down without exerting himself anymore. I didn't say anything because I got nervous, and I also know how defensive Monk is of Demeter, so it made sense. He might have gone to the open area to clean up that part of the junkyard after the ball. I'm sure Demeter knows where to find him. With that, Tugger started standing up, dusting off his amazingly fluffy coat, and headed towards the door. Wait, Tugger. Where are you going?" Tugger did a pivot turn back to Misto. "Wherever I please. Just gonna fumble my way around until I want to sleep again. Try to find something to eat or wait till I'm offered." Tugger sauntered up to Misto and gave him some head scratches when he had the sudden urge to just drop down and squat next to Misto and invite him on today's adventures. I don't know, Tug. I don't want to ruin your flow." Tugger just let out one cackle before looking completely serious, or as serious as Tugger can get. "Nonsense. Nothing can ruin my flow. In fact, a wingman is just the thing I need to keep me company, Mistoffelees." Misto let out a huge grin and took Tug's offered hand to help him stand up as they both walked back to the spot they slept in. First, they rounded the corner to see 3 cats in the distance, Jenny Anydots, Jelly Lorem, and Bomb Ballerina. They seemed to be preparing a spot for the kittens together. Jelly loves her job of taking care of kittens, and Gus, and Jenny and Bomba were always happy to help with that. It was a girls' kind of activity. Tugger slid right into their conversation, Misto toddling behind him, trying to keep up pace with his shorter legs. "Wowzers, Queens, what you doing in this abandoned trash can? This place is too cold for the kittens. Maybe try the mattress guarded by the hubcap pile a few rows back." Jelly jolted up. "Oh, wow. Great idea. Yeah. I was so focused on overhead cover from the rain, I totally didn't think of how cold and stiff it'd be to sleep in here. Thanks, Tugger." Tugger did a dramatic spin, dropping down like it was hot, before coming back up with a thrust of his hips. "Not a problem at all, ladies. Jenny, taking off for a while?" Jenny totted towards Tugger. "Why, yes. My tattoo can wait. I want to make sure that there's a space for the new kids." Misto peered from behind Tugger. Whose kits are they?" This caused Bumba to stumble back. Mistoffelees, I didn't see you there. I was actually looking for you near your usual spot. I wanted to congratulate you and thank you for saving Old Dude last night. That was very heroic. This got Misto all blushy and shy, retreating to a spot back behind Tugger. Oh, gosh, well, thanks. Jelly and Bamba giggled at his faltering before Jenny, oblivious to what was happening, answered Misto's questions. It's Cassandra and Alonzo's kitten. They've been wanting to for a while now, but didn't know if they had the space. We told them not to worry and that we'd find them a space. Tugger sashayed to Bamba, booping her nose and standing behind her, wrapping his arms around her neck. And where's your group of kittens, Bamba? She playfully flirted with Tugger, teasing him by wrapping her tail around his waist. You know I haven't found a date yet. Tugger kept playing along and bent down to purr into her side of her face. I'm surprised. A nice, well-rounded Tom hasn't come to mate with you yet. Bamba kind of scooted away at this point. I just want to focus on helping with the kittens that aren't mine right now. Gus needs me as much as he needs Jenny and Jelly, so I'll find a mate when the time is right. Although Tugger was a very pushy person, he knew when folks got uncomfortable and when to stop. Suppose that's one of the perks of growing up with the Mr.Mistoffelees. Okie dokie then. Misto and I have better things to do than this, and I already told you the perfect spot, so you're done anyway. We'll catch up with your queens later. They said their goodbyes, and Tugger practically dragged Misto with how fast he was. The pair started heading towards the scrapped cars of the junkyard when Tugger heard strange noises. It sounded like but it was in the voice of... He looked down to see Misto, petting his own chest fur up and down as he repeated the bub noise, inflating his cheeks as he did so. What you doing there, Quaxo? Misto was quite startled and jumped at the sudden noise. Quaxo? What's that name? Tugger snickered. I just thought it'd be a cute little nickname for you. Misto got a bit hissy. I mean, I'm not some swing. I like to think I'm the main character or something. Something? Like a story? You're so silly, Quaxo. Just then, a group of kittens turned the corner and caught sight of, at the time, just Tugger. Led clearly by Etc., followed closely behind was Electra, and about 7 to 8 other kittens. They all started skipping their way towards them. At the time, from an older dresser, came Bill Bailey, who, from his angle, spotted both Tugger and Misto, who was able to reach them first, since he was a lot closer than the kittens. Hey, Misto, I love how brave you were last night. I noticed you haven't found a mate yet. If you'd like, I'd love to give you your first go. He nuzzled Misto's shoulder, brushing his fur the wrong way. This interaction made Mr.Mistoffelees feel all kinds of sorts of wrong. As he was just getting affection from Bill Bailey, the rest of the queen kittens finally got to Tugger, who didn't mind letting them hang from his arms and hug around his legs. They meowed like crazy whenever he spoke a word. They clung to it all, like that was the closest thing they've gotten to a mate, which it probably was. Misto didn't dare move. He knew he was caught by BB. That was until one of the kittens finally looked away from Tugger long enough to notice the tuxedo cat right behind him. She let go of Tugger, falling to the ground and scurrying to his feet, batting her front paws to the hind paws that were trapped under this kitten's leg. The sudden divergence from Tugger perked this interest of the other kittens, slowly looking up from Tug and taking in the scene. One practically screamed, dropping to the dirt before leaping into Misto and trying to hold on to him the same way the rest of the kittens did with Tugger. Soon, the following kittens had the same idea as Tugger tried to keep his balance from the sudden pushing off of his torso. Oh my gosh, yes! The magical Mr.Mistoffelees. He's even cuter up close. One of the kittens gnawed as she licked Misto's elbow. I want you to be my hero, etc. chimed in, rubbing against Misto's back in a similar way that Tugger did to Bomba before. The only difference is they both enjoyed it and they both agreed on that type of play. Mistoffelees, on the other hand, agreed to nothing of the sort. He hated strangers, he hated touch, he hated how dirty they made his coat feel and how they spread his fur in opposite directions. As Misto's breathing picked up, he squeezed his eyes shut, clenching his paws, then his face, and one thing after another until his whole body was tense under the grazes of the kittens. He let his hearing turn to static, like TV that was unplugged from its cable box. He focused on the feel of the tears breaking through his tight eyelids, rolling down his cheeks. How wet they were, how salty, how fast they went, and where they ended up dripping off of his face. Thank you so much for listening. That is the end of the chapter. I had to confirm. I was like, wow, I ended that suddenly. This chapter is really making me realize that I indeed did write this a long time ago. And wow, this is poorly written. But I hope you enjoy anyway. I can't promise my next Cats fanfic is any better. But I do love me some good angst and some good traumatized boys. What can I say? I fear I am the problem. Okay, cool. With that being said, thank you so much for listening. If you want to be updated when the next chapter comes out, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when the next chapter does come out, as previously mentioned. That's kind of self-explanatory at this point. Thank you so much for listening, and much like Misto trying to handle the kittens, do your best.